Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are going to be in Module 6, Lesson 4, which is tracking right along. The materials for this lesson today is your green workbook. If you have your green workbook, go ahead and turn to the page, pause the video, do what you need to do. A lot of the things that we're going to need are going to be on that page. So make sure if you have your green workbook, even if you think that you have your green workbook, it might be easier for you to get it out and go ahead and work on it. If you have a notebook or a piece of paper, that works too. A pencil. What I want you to have is a pencil and a red crayon or a red colored pencil or a red pen or whatever. You just need a black one and a red one. So if you have two crayons of that color, if you have two colored pencils, I don't recommend pen because we're doing math, but if that works, that works. And once again, if you have grid paper, and grid paper. So if you have grid paper, once again, this will be very helpful for this game or for this lesson for today. So without further ado, I'm going to explain the game Battleship to you. Now, this is a game that it's a board game, and it was really popular back in the day. And when I mean back in the day, I mean in like the 80s and the 90s. So some of your parents may be familiar with it. I have actually never played it, but I've heard, seen the commercials growing up, and I'm sure if I asked my brothers who are a little bit older, they would probably be familiar with it. But the purpose of this game, I'll put my pointer on so you can see. The purpose of this game is to kind of plot your ships, and you're kind of trying to figure out where your partner, or not really your partner, your opponent, your opposite, the person who you're going against, where they've placed their ships, and you're trying to figure out where they are so you can attack them and sink their ships. And whoever has their ships or most of them still on the board at the end, or whenever you kind of call it quits, is the winner. So yeah, we're doing a board game, but on a coordinate plane. How interesting is that? Math in real life, ladies and gentlemen. Math in real life. Okay, so we're going to go over the objective. So the objective for this is to name points using coordinate pairs and use the coordinate pairs to plot points. Basically the same objective that we have for the day before for lesson 3. Just continuing it. This one puts a little twist on finding the coordinate plane or the coordinate pairs. In our I will statement, I will be able to find points on a coordinate plane and put points at the right spots on a coordinate plane. Okay? So here are the rules to this game, and I'm gonna kind of go over this now. Yeah, so the goal, like I said before, is to sink all of your opponent's ships by correctly guessing their coordinates. So you and your partner, not partner, I keep saying partner, you and your opponent need to have the same number of points on your grid, on your coordinate plane. That way that way it's a fair game. Okay, so we kind of went over the materials. The red crayon is for the hits and the black crayon is for the misses. And I'm gonna go over what that means, but just make sure. And if you if you're playing with a sibling, or if you're playing with a parent, if you have a folder you can place in between players, or if you even want to spread out across the room, one person in one side and one person on the other side, and kind of yell out to each other, that may work too. So each player must mark 5 ships on their grid. So we have an aircraft carrier, a battleship, a cruiser, a submarine, and a patrol boat. Each one of these ships, you don't really need to draw them, because taking the time to draw an aircraft carrier would take forever, and I don't even think I can picture an aircraft carrier in my mind to draw it. But for our plane, it should have 5 points. So if you have 5 points in a row anywhere, that's going to be your aircraft carrier. And the same thing for your battleship. You're going to plot 4 points somewhere. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm just kind of going over it for right now. So with your opponent, choose a unit length and fractional unit. We're going to go over that, and then label the chosen units on both grid sheets. And I'll show you what that grid sheet will look like. That way we can kind of all play together, kind of, even though we're in separate areas. So Now we're gonna go over how this game works, okay? So in order for you to truly play the game, you're gonna need 2 grids. So that should look something like this. So if you have your green workbook, it should look like this. If not, this is a super simple one to draw. We're going to mark it all the way to 5. So you're going to have 5, 4 1/2, 4, 3 1/2, 3, etc., all the way down till you get to your origin. And I'll have that labeled so you can kind of copy it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to make sure that you have all the lines. The easiest way to do it is once you have all of your lines for the X, you just kind of draw a straight line above, and the same thing for your Y. Okay, so like I said, so you're gonna basically take turns firing a shot at the enemy ships or your opponent. So if it's my turn and I know where my ships are, but I'm kind of trying to figure out where their ships are. If I say that 1 1, or I'll say this is 5 right here, 5 on the X coordinate. So if I say 5 0, that's the coordinate that we have. They're either going to tell me hit or miss. So no extra words, no anything. You kind of have to have a straight face. So you can say hit. So say if I have anything here and person calls it out and they say hit. Okay, so I'm going to put a red check mark in that area, and I'm going to write this down here. Right, that way I kind of keep track of my coordinates. If you don't have this paper with you, it's really easy to make. And if you just have it on like a sticky note or like a small piece of paper or something just to write it down so that you know where the shots are, which ones that you've taken. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, hopefully. And I think that's all the rules, but I'll go over to make sure. Yeah, so now we're gonna go over how this game works, okay? So in order for you to truly play the game, you're gonna need 2 grids. So that should look something like this. So if you have your green workbook, it should look like this. If not, this is a super simple one to draw. We're gonna mark it all the way to 5. So you're going to have 5, 4 1/2, 4, 3 1/2, 3, etc., all the way down till you get to your origin. And I'll have that labeled so you can kind of copy it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to make sure that you have all the lines. The easiest way to do it is once you have all of your lines for the X, you just kind of draw a straight line above, and the same thing for your Y. Okay, so like I said, so you're gonna basically take turns firing a shot at the enemy ships or your opponent. So if it's my turn and I know where my ships are, but I'm kind of trying to figure out where their ships are. If I say that 1 1, or I'll say this is 5 right here, 5 on the X coordinate. So if I say 5 0, that's the coordinate that we have. They're either going to tell me hit or miss. So no extra words, no anything. You kind of have to have a straight face. So you can say hit. So say if I have anything here and person calls it out and they say hit. Okay, so I'm going to put a red check mark in that area, and I'm going to write this down here. Right, that way I kind of keep track of my coordinates. If you don't have this paper with you, it's really easy to make. And if you just have it on like a sticky note or like a small piece of paper or something just to write it down so that you know where the shots are, which ones that you've taken. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, hopefully. And I think that's all the rules, but I'll go over to make sure. Yeah, if we go to where the point that I said, if I called out this point and they say miss, I just put an X, a black X. So with your pencil, black one, you just put an X, but you still make sure that you write it down so that so that you can keep track, because the point of the game is to win. right? You can't just keep just saying random things and not really care. It's kind of like when you play hangman and someone says a letter that's wrong, you have to write it down somewhere. This is exactly what we're doing when it comes to that. And just to make sure I covered all the rules, mark each attempt. So every coordinate that you think, you have to write everything down. On your opponent's turn, if that person hits one of your ships, mark a red check on that coordinate on your My Ships grid. When one of your ships has every coordinate marked with a check, say you sunk my aircraft carrier, or you sunk my cruiser, or you sunk my submarine. And I'll kind of demonstrate what that looks like. So yeah. All right, so your grid should look something like this. Now, I didn't mark all of the halfway points, but I did mark the first one so that you know in between each of these there should be a half. So this is 1/2. I'm sorry, yes, 1/2, then 1. And this line right here would be 1 and 1/2 because it's between 1 and 2. Same thing for 2 and 3, 2 and 1/2, 3 and 4, 4 and 5. But 5 should be the maximum. So it should be all the way till 5 on your x-axis and all the way till 5 on your y-axis. Now, here's a little trivia. What would this point be? What would that point be? Pretty simple, pretty easy. But just in case, I put it down right here. It is 0, 0, or our origin, where our entire, excuse me, where our entire kind of coordinate plane starts. Okay, easy. You got that. I know you had it. I was just making sure. I'm just testing, making sure that you're on the right track, that our wavelengths are still, that we're still connected. So I need to have this is my aircraft carrier because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. This is my battleship because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. This is my submarine, 3. This is my cruise one, I believe, my cruiser. And this is my my patrol boat. 1 second. Okay, so this is my I've taken my ships right here. Where's my pointer? I found my ships and I placed them on my grid, on my coordinate plane. I placed it on my coordinate plane. So my aircraft carrier is right here. My battleship is right here. My cruiser, which is 3 points, is right here. My submarine and patrol boat, which I couldn't find a picture of, is right here. Now, the only thing that I'm missing. Oh no, I have everything. Yeah, easy. Oh wait, I need somebody to play with. Oh my goodness. Hi, Miss Ramy and Miss Milan. How's it going?
Hi, Miss Satchell. It's going well.
How's your quarantine so far?
Hanging in there.
All right, so are you guys familiar with Battleship?
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so I set up my board, but I need someone to play with. Are y'all willing to play with me?
Yeah.
All right, bet. You're going down. So just want you to know, I want that to be very clear. Now, you can't see my screen right now, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm making sure. We're not cheating around here. So on my screen, it's me, and then it's Miss Ramy, and then it's Miss Milan. So like that's how we can just go. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Any strategies you would like to share with the kids before you lose?
Well, I don't want to give away too much so that y'all know where my ships are. But I will say that I like to confuse people by putting ships close together.
Okay.
Okay. Miss Milan?
Not really. I would like to acknowledge that I'm a beginner at this game, So I'm just going to be trying my best to win.
All right, let's go. All right, so Miss Ramy, I'm going to like attack you first, and then Miss Ramy will attack Miss Mon, and then Miss Mon, you'll attack me. All right. So Miss Ramy, I think that you have a part of a ship on 3 1/2 and 1.
So I look at the x-axis first, right?
Of course. And then you look at your y-axis, and then you tell me if it's a hit or a miss. This is harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's really hard. So can I clarify? So if you hit one part of the ship, the whole ship goes down, right?
No. You got to hit all the parts of the ship. But once you get a hit, you'll be able to kind of rationalize from there. So once we actually get a hit, I ask some more strategy questions.
Gotcha. So if you get a hit, do you get to ask another question like immediately, or do you have to wait till your next turn?
Ooh, I don't know. We can make up that rule.
I think you have to wait until your next turn, but it might make it go faster if you want to be like speedy Battleship to go where you can keep asking if you keep getting it right.
I think we can do speedy Battleship.
Yeah.
That would be the title of this. Speedy Battleship. Was that close though? Can you answer that?
No.
Well.
All right, Miss Milan, 1-1.
Yes.
Oh, we got a hit.
Okay, so now I gotta figure out which way is her battleship facing, because her battleship could be, going closer to the inside, could be closer to the outside.
It could be
I don't know.
Horizontal, it could be vertical. You got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo. Nice.
I'm gonna go 1/2.
You are correct.
Ooh, another hit.
So it seems like she's got a horizontal ship going.
Ooh. Okay, so once again, the first point that you said, Miss Ramy, was 1-1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm trying to kind of mark that up here. And then you said 1/2, a 1/2 and a 1.
Yeah.
So that's 2 points so far. Okay, so now you have to think about what ship she has there. So it could be the aircraft carrier, it could be the battleship. If it was a patrol boat. Also, if someone sinks your whole thing, you have to say, "You just sunk my whatever."
Right. Okay. So Miss Milan would have told me if I sank her boat, right?
You did not sink my boat.
Okay, so the patrol boat is out of the question. All right, Miss Ramy, you're on a hot streak. Let's go.
Let's go with 1.5-1.
Yes. You did not sink my boat.
2-1.
Yes.
Oh.
And you did not sink my boat yet.
2.5-1.
Yes, and you sank my boat.
Oh no! It was the aircraft carrier, the biggin.
It was.
Dang.
It was.
That's a
Rest
good one
in
to start
peace.
with. Get that out of the way.
Rest in peace, man. Also,
Okay.
I'm gonna make up this rule, just so we can be a little bit quicker. Once someone sinks 2 boats, they're out. Yeah, once you lose 2 boats, you're out.
Got it.
All right, Miss Long. I mislabeled this apparently, but it's fine. It's still a miss. So.
Oh my gosh.
3.5 and 4.
Hit.
Ah! 3.5 and 4. Okay, well, now I really got to think. 3.5 and 4. Because it could either be this way or it could be that way. All right, my next one will be 3.5 and 4 and 4.
Miss.
My strategy now, because I did get a hit, but when I went horizontally, I missed. So now I'm gonna try it vertically. I'm only sharing this because I'm teaching the children. So my next guess would be 3.5, 3.5.
Hit.
Ha ha! Victory is mine. Three and a half, 3.5. Now I'm gonna say 3.5, 3.
Hit.
Oh, this is fantastic. I never win anything. What? Sorry, I got a random message. All right, 3.5, 2.5.
You sank my. Is it the battleship that's 4?
Yes. Mwahahaha.
Okay, so Miss Satchell, you're kind of like in the lead right now because you don't have any ships that have been sunk.
You're right.
Okay, gotcha. Where are your ships, Miss Satchell?
They are here and alive and present. And at the end of this, I'll show you them. But for right now, I'm just on a roll, you know?
All right, Miss Satchel, I'm kind of going to do what Miss Jamie just did. I'm going to do 0, 2.
Miss. What? You're literally. I got scared right there. I'm not gonna lie. I got scared. I thought she was gonna get it.
I'm really trying to see where you are, Miss Satchel, because like when I'm living on this, like I have misses all across the graph. So I'm trying to figure out where exactly your ships are.
They're there. They're just not where you have them. I don't know, man. All right, Miss Ramy. Oh wait, no, I just went. I guess 1.5, 2.
Okay, Miss Milan. Let's go with 3.5, 3.5.
That is a hit.
Oh, that hurt.
Okay. Is it horizontal? Is it vertical? I'm gonna go with 3.5, 4.
That is another hit. You have not sunk my ship yet.
3.5, 4.5.
Miss.
Oh.
Hit. You sank my whatever the 2 thing bonus.
The parole boat or patrol boat?
You just sank my patrol boat. Wait, I'm out now.
So is it just between me and Miss Satchel?
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
Right there. Look at that. Man. I may have steered you astray. I'm not gonna lie, Miss Milan. But I'm pretty sure you haven't made one yet. All right, thanks, Miss.
this one. 1.5 and 4.5.
You got me. That's a hit right there. That's a hit. That's a hit.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3, 4.5.
Miss Milan, you've sunk my aircraft carrier. Now we're on the even playing field. It's anybody's game. It's anybody's game.
I'm going to go with 2.5.
You just took my ship.
So the winner?
Yeah, you won this one.
Yay!
Yeah, the underdog.
Underdog.
In full HD. That's good. That's good right there. Did y'all see my ships?
There you go. That's my tracker, and then this is mine.
Yeah.
I want to see them now.
All right. Takeaways, Miss Ramy, Miss Milan. Just a gist, a wrap up of highs and lows of this game.
Miss Remy, you want to go?
I would definitely say that one of my highs was seeing how Miss Satchel wasn't showing her work the whole time and how that really didn't pay off for her. So it's just a lesson to always be showing your work.
And always listen too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And I would also say, not to pick on Miss Satchel or anything, but if you don't have graph paper, make sure that you correctly label, or even if you do have graph paper, make sure you correctly label your graph or your quadrant.
Yep.
Because that's important. And also make sure that you know like where your ships are, because there were a lot of times when I was like, oh, oops, I made a mistake. Yeah, it actually was, or that wasn't a hit. It was actually a miss.
Yeah.
So make sure you can identify your X and Y axis.
Yeah.
For your,
you know, in Battleship, there's not usually half marks like in the game if you buy it at the store. Mm-hmm. And so that made it really interesting to me, like just trying to think about the halves and where I was putting it as a new twist.
If there were whole numbers, would it be easier?
I think a little bit easier, but really you just have to make sure that when you're looking at the graph, you aren't just counting the number of lines, because the number of lines is more than, you know, the number of whole numbers.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Milana and Miss Shermy, for joining me in my game of Battleship.
I had fun.
I had fun too. Okay, so for the work that I want you to turn into your specific math teacher, we're gonna just do this exit ticket. Now, because we're not in the classroom and I'm not able to kind of have a Battleship bracket like a March Madness type thing, this is probably the easiest way to think or to kind of test your knowledge. So it's just 2 questions. You're gonna kind of write the answers to the questions, send it to your specific math teacher, and maybe if you ask your math teacher really nicely, they probably play Battleship with you, or a social distance Battleship type. Maybe if you ask really nicely, if you propose it correctly, you never know. All right, so it says Fatima and Rihanna are playing Battleship. They labeled their axes using just whole numbers. So theirs kind of looks like mine, just whole numbers. Fatima's first guess is 2, 2. Rihanna says hit. Give the coordinates of 4 points that Fatima might guess next. So it's kind of thinking about strategies. Just like how we just used a whole bunch of different strategies. We've been talking about our different strategies. This is this is just asking you, what do you think the next 4 points could be? What do you think someone else would guess? If you were playing and they said 2, 2, and they say hit, what would be next? What would your next move be? All right, and B, Rihanna says hit for the points directly above and below 2, 2. This is kind of testing your knowledge on the coordinate plane. What does it mean for something to be up above and below? And it says, what are the coordinates that Fatima guessed? Okay, well, thank you for joining me and indulging me in my Battleship mania. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.